Hello everyone, we are really pleased to welcome you at our webinar dedicated on Android automated testing with Genymotion Cloud. I'm Eleanor Kwok, I'm a pre-sales at Genymobile, and I'm with Fabien Vallon, who is the product manager of Genymotion.
Hello.
If you have any questions during the presentation, you can ask them in the questions box. We will answer them at the end of the presentations. This webinar will be recorded and slides will be sent to you. So here's a quick agenda of what we'll be talking about during this webinar. So first, we'll start with a bit of context, why doing automation tests, and why it is important for you to reduce your whole test lifecycle. Then we will present Genymotion Cloud and how it integrates within your existing continuous integration environment. Then we will talk about different ways of reducing your testing lifecycle by parallelizing your tests with parallel testing and test sharding. There will be some demos using Genymotion Cloud. And then at the end, we will go further and talk a little bit more about Genymotion Cloud. I will first let Fabien talk about the context and why it is important to do automation tests.
Thank you, Eleanor. As you know, the Android market is a fragmented market. According to an Open Signal study in 2050, there are more than 24K hardware/Android version combinations. And testing an application on all those combinations is really painful. Sometimes testing can be seen as time or cost consuming, but it is a necessary step in order to deliver nearly bug-free application. As you can see in the chart on the right, the earlier you conduct tests, the less it costs you to resolve a bug. You can see that before release, resolving a bug costs less than 50% of a post-release bug. We will see that automating tests can have several advantages. First, you can test on more devices with different configuration and in a shorter time, since that those tests can run without human interaction in parallel. For example, you can run tests during the night with a CI environment. Automating tests is also more accurate. A manual tester could still forget to perform some tests, for example. And finally, in a development phase, conducting tests is agile and each change is tested. To sum up this advantage, automating testing is all about efficiently conducting tests to save money. So I will let now Eleanor to go deeper into continuous integration workflow.
So before we go deeper into Genymotion Cloud, let's have a quick reminder on how the workflow of CI works. I don't know if in the audience you are already familiar with this, but usually how it works, it is that the developer writes the code of the app. When he's ready with the changes, he checks into a source control server, such as GitHub, for example. Then the continuous integration server, for example, Jenkins, will fetches all these changes, will build the app, and it will test the application. That's where Genymotion Cloud comes into play. Then the results of the tests will be sent back to the developers.
Let me talk about Genymotion Cloud. What is Genymotion Cloud? Genymotion Cloud is a SaaS platform, a software as a service platform based on the Genymotion virtualized Android system. The main goal of this platform is to accelerate your time to market. by first improving the quality of your application with automation capabilities, but also by allowing all the stakeholders of the company, like sales people, marketing, UX, UI designer, developers, and QA to easily collaborate from the first line of code to the launch of the product. Genymotion Cloud provides a seamless integration with Android emulator. You can interact with them manually from a simple web browser, but you can also integrate them into your automated tests. All these integrations are done in real time. You have direct access to these devices. For automated testing, the big strength of Genymotion Cloud is that you can use your existing CI environment in a transparent fashion. And how to do this? By using the free tool we developed for this. The first one is GM tool. GM tool allow you to manage the lifecycle of the virtual devices, like list virtual devices, start them, stop them, and so on. With the ADB tunnel tool, you can send each ADB call from your CI environment directly into your virtual device into the cloud. And finally, with our Gradle plugin, you can directly integrate Genymotion Cloud with your Gradle configuration file. With this free tool, you can really integrate Genymotion Cloud within your CI environment in a transparent fashion, and transparent fashion is the big strength of Genymotion Cloud. Genymotion Cloud is compatible with multi-test frameworks and CI server, from Espresso to Robotium, from Selenium to Appium, from Jenkins to Bamboo, or even with your custom scripts. I repeat, all of this can be integrated in a transparent fashion. This is very, very important. Elinor will now explain you what is the basic workflow for automated test with Genymotion Cloud.
Thank you, Fabien. What we do is that here we just explain a workflow for using Genymotion Cloud within your CI environment. So what you would do is that you would first configure a virtual device that for example, you would install the Google apps or any other application dependencies that you need for testing your application. And this virtual device that you have pre-configured, you can directly share it to the cloud. So how do you access it, manage it, and run your tests on it? So here's how the integration CI will come into play. So what you would do is that you will first use GM tool or the Gradle plugin to create and start the virtual device shared on the cloud. Then once the cloud virtual device is started, as Fabien explained, there is the ADB tunnel that is created so that you are able to communicate with those virtual devices directly with ADB calls. And this is essential to be able to run the test. So everything is now configured, and thanks to those tools, you will be able to seamlessly and effortlessly run your test on any CI. So for example, Jenkins, Bamboo, and run your tests using any testing frameworks, such as Espresso or Appium. So now let's see how you can parallelize tests to better test at scale and reduce the whole testing lifecycle. So first, what we're talking about is about parallel testing. So Fabien will introduce it, and then after we'll talk about test sharding, and I will be doing the demos for all these different ways.
About parallel testing, what to achieve with parallel testing? We won't be able to run the same battery of tests on virtual device with various configuration, for example, Android version or screen size. Of course, you could do this by testing on one device at a time, but you can achieve broader device coverage and test faster by doing parallel testing. With parallel testing, you can have many devices running at the same time and run the same battery of tests on all two's virtual devices. So let's have some demo illustration done by Eleanor for parallel testing.
So I will do two demos. So one demo will be using the Espresso framework with integration with a CI server such as Jenkins. So this demonstration will be done in live. And after, what I will do is that I will do a demo with Appium, with the automation framework Appium using Genymotion Cloud with in parallel. So what I will show you now is here I have Jenkins job that is already configured. So I will quickly show you what is the configuration, and we'll see that this configuration is quite simple. So first, what I do is that I will point to our Genymotion Binacle open source project. So for those that don't know what this project is that it will use the Genymotion Java APIs that can automate the use of some sensors such as the battery, the GPS, etc. So I will run all these tests using Espresso within Genymotion Cloud. So I pointed out to the project. So what I will do now is that I will state the device that I want to use to run the test on them. So here I used two virtual devices, which are the Nexus 4 and Nexus 5. So you can see that the command line is quite simple. It's just one single line. You can just use gemtool -- cloud admins.disposable and use the name of the template and just name the virtual device. So here you saw that I used a gemtool, but you can also use the Gradle plugin, and you will just define all those virtual devices directly within your build.gradle file. And you will see how it works with the last demo. So here what I did is that I just state the virtual device I want to start. What I will do after is that I'm going to use the connected Android test task, which launch the Espresso test on those virtual device. And when I'm finished, I will just simply get the test reports and just close and stop the device with gemtool. And with the Gradle plugin, it will automatically stop them. So here I'm going to save the job. I'm going to build it and run it. I will show you the console output. So here you see that the first device is being started. So what I will show you also is our Genymotion Cloud web interface. So here I'm going to show you the first device that is being run, and I will display it. And I just check if the other is being started. So here you can see that the other is being started. So I'm going back and I'm going to show it also. Just going to resize the screen so that you can see both virtual devices at the same time and see the test running on those virtual devices. So here you can see that all the test applications are being pushed onto the virtual devices. And here you can see a simple battery test, and you will see another test which will use the GPS location, so that when it will change the location of the device, and when it is close to Dalvik, it will display a warning. And there will be also other free tests that will be run. So you can see that all those tests are being run in parallel in two virtual devices run in parallel. And then when the tests are finished, you will see that those devices are automatically stopped. And here you can see on the interface that the virtual devices are not available anymore. And you can see that my job is finished and it was successful. So here I finished the demo about using Espresso and Jenkins. So what I will also show you is that it's possible to run APM tests quite easily using Genymotion Cloud and in parallel. So for this, I will show you a video, which is here. Let me. So here I have two virtual devices on the right. What I do first is that I will start the Selenium hub, which will be here to connect all the APM server that I'm going to start. So first what I do is that I will attach one of the virtual device to one APM server, which is the Nexus 5. So you can see it was successfully registered with the Selenium grade. I'm also starting another virtual device, and I will attach it to the other APM server. And what I will do here is I will just run the APM test. So basically, what we'll do is that it will push a simple Riddle app to those two virtual devices, and it will take screenshots at the same time. So here, what I use is a simple APM test written in Java uses test-ng suite, which will enable doing parallel testing with APM. So here you can see that screenshots are being taken during the tests. And when the tests are finished, I will just show you the test reports. And you can see with the test report, the tests were being run in those two virtual devices at the same time. So I'm finished with those demos, and I'm going back to the presentation so that we can talk about another way to parallelize the test with test charting. So I will let Fabien explain this to you.
Thank you, Elinor. Test sharding. Test sharding is also a good way to parallelize your tests. It allows you to evenly divide up your test into groups, and those groups are called shards. For example, you need to run 100 tests that would take 25 minutes to complete on one single device. With test sharding, you can speed up your test by splitting your test into groups, into shards, for example, 5. And run one part on the first device, another part on the other one, and so on. And it will reduce the time span for the test by 5. Elinor will do a demo of test sharding with the integration of a framework called Spoon.
So before doing the demonstration, I will explain to you what is Spoon. So it is an interesting open source framework developed by Square. What it does is that it distributes the instrumentation test execution and displays the results with a web page. Maybe you're already familiar with this framework, and what we encountered is that many of our clients use Spoon for screenshots since it integrates well within the test results. And yeah, maybe you are already using Spoon for this. But with Spoon, what you can also do is that you can distribute your tests easily with auto sharding. So what it will do is that it will automatically detect the number of connected devices, and it will auto distribute them on all those virtual devices. And to run those tests, there are two ways of running those tests. So you can use a command line tool with using the spoon jar, or directly with the Gradle plugin, and you will see that it integrates really well with Genymotion Cloud Gradle plugin. And here it is what I will going to demonstrate to you. So what I will show you is a video of this. So I will just spawn and I restore it. So here what I have is an internal project that you have that have approximately 200 tests. And here I will just show you the configuration of the build Gradle file, and we will just run the test after using Spoon. So what we do here is that we mentioned the Spoon and Genymotion dependencies. We will just do version on the runner. We will apply the Spoon plugin, the Genymotion plugin. We just mention the 100G unit runner that will be used to run the tests. We use the spoon. So here what you do is that you just put all the mention what you want to do with spoon. So you have to enable the auto sharding. Here you grant all the permission for 100x6 plus. And if you want to add any other configuration, you can do this. So here you will say that you will mention the spoon debug Android test, which will be the Gradle task that will run to run the spoon tests. And this is quite important. So with the task launch task, what you will do is that you can add any custom Gradle task, and you can just mention them so that when you will start this task, it will automatically start your virtual device before launching this task. So here, it will first launch the cloud virtual device before starting the spoon debug Android test task. So here in the block, I will define the cloud virtual device that I want to start. So here I'm using 6 virtual device, and I also have one which is called Google Apps that are already pre-configured. So here you can either use the one that you already pre-configure or the templates that you have. And at the end, I will just mention the dependencies that we'll use for the Java APIs. And for example, the spoon, if you want to start to take any screenshots during the test. So here I'm going to launch the Gradle spoon task that will first launch the virtual device. So you will see that with the demo, I did some fast forwarding because it takes several minutes to launch all these hundreds of tests. So here the first device is being started. So you will also see on the Genymotion Cloud web interface those virtual devices. So I'm going to start the first one. And I wait for all the other virtual devices to start. So I'm just going to do some fast forwarding. So here I started two virtual devices. So here there are six virtual devices that are running at the same time. I'm just only showing you two virtual devices, and you will see the tests running on them. So you will see that the tests are not the same, and so the different set of tests are being run separately in those virtual devices. So what I will do is that I will fast forward so that we get to the end of those tests. So let me do this. And when all those tests are finished, all the devices are being stopped automatically. So here you can see that the devices are being stopped, and here you'll see also that they are being stopped and you can't access to them anymore. And I will then show you the test report for Spoon, and we see that it is quite the UI is quite good. So you see that all that there were 200 tests being run on 6 virtual devices, and all the Genymotion virtual devices are displayed as Genymotion with the name of the device. So you can directly see that the tests were different, and I can directly go within one virtual device and display the test reports. So here you can see that you can, for example, see the screenshots that have been taken for each test that was run, and you can also have the logs related to them. So here ends the demonstration of the Spoon part using Genymotion Cloud. So I will now let Fabien going further into Genymotion Cloud.
Thank you very much, Elinor. As I said before, Genymotion Cloud is about accelerating your time to market with automated testing, and this is the subject of this webinar. But Genymotion Cloud also have collaborative feature to involve all the stakeholders of the company, like marketing, sales, or even customers, in order to have quick feedback during the development lifecycle process. The collaborative part of Genymotion Cloud is built around three main features available directly from a web browser. The first one is application sharing. You can share an application and run it directly into the cloud on a virtual device with a simple web browser. Second one is virtual device sharing. You can share the whole virtual device with all the context, like third-party library, like custom rendering, for example, and also run it directly from a web browser. This is one of the features that Elinor previously explained when talking about the CI workflow with Genymotion Cloud. And the last one is live sharing. This feature allows you to run a virtual device with others and interact directly with it. Every click, mouse, or keyboard inputs will be displayed for all the attendees. With these three main features, we want to speed up the feedback efficiently, even for non-technical people. The webinar is now finished. We will check in the question box if there are any pending questions. If you have a question, please write them down.